cool stuff today. So yeah, welcome in everyone. Happy December, happy Thursday. And I will pass it off to the interpreters for interpretation instructions.
Hi, good afternoon and good evening. Tonight's meeting will be simultaneously interpreted into Spanish. For those of you who would like to listen to the meeting in English, even if you're bilingual, but your preference is the English language, please go to the bottom of your screen or your toolbar and select the language channel, the control that says interpretation. You then will click on your language, either English or Spanish. Make sure to silence original audio. We ask that the presenters or speakers speak at a moderate pace to allow the interpreters to interpret accordingly. Hola, muy buenas tardes y bienvenidos a esta reunión. Esta reunión será interpretada simultáneamente al español. Si está participando vía Zoom usando una computadora o tableta, diríjase a la barra de tareas en la parte de abajo de su pantalla y haga clic en el icono del mundito o bien en la opción que diga interpretación. Aquí seleccione español. Si está usando un teléfono inteligente, diríjase a los 3 puntitos de su pantalla del teléfono y haga clic en interpretación y clic otra vez en español. Asegúrese de silenciar audio original para que pueda escuchar todo en español. Las intérpretes tienen la capacidad de cambiar canales. Si gusta aportar algo en español, podemos nosotros cambiar al inglés. No es necesario que cambie de canal. The interpreters have the ability of changing the channels. If there's any input or any questions in the Spanish channel, the interpreters can switch to the English channel. You don't need to switch your channel. The interpretation function will be activated after this announcement. La función de interpretación será activada después de este mensaje. Gracias. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Here we are at our CERT meeting number 15. I am one of the co-chairs, Mr. Charles, and we have our other co-chairs, Ayana Johnson and Michaela.
Hey.
Today, you guys will be learning about all the work that we put in on that social pinpointing. And you guys are gonna love this presentation. Next slide.
Hi, y'all. It's Carly here from CBE. Just wanted to go over some meeting objectives for tonight. So 3 meeting objectives. The first, CSC members will hear and consider the results of the Air District's Compliance and Enforcement Division's East Oakland 3-year report on enforcement findings for air quality complaints and notice of violations. Secondly, CSC members will hear and respond to the proposed focus areas that we got from the community mapping, also from past CSC meetings. And CSC members will leave with an understanding of what focus areas are and what their purpose is. Thank you.
Yeah. So now kind of like, what are we going to be doing this meeting? So, always have our welcome, intros, interpretation, timeline stuff. That's where we are right now. Like Mr. Charles mentioned, we're going to have a presentation from compliance and enforcement. So they're going to be showing findings over the last few years, actually. And we're going to have a bit of time for some Q&A also. We're going to have a break, try to get it at 5 minutes also. And then we're going to spend a little time turning to what next year will be kind of focused on, which is developing focus areas for strategy development. So things like land use, building design, air pollution. We'll be talking about all those things y'all are really focused on. Then we'll kind of end with our EJ announcements and updates, and then we'll close out with next steps for the new year. So yeah.
So our initial meeting agreement notes for participation, remember, 1 mic, 1 voice. So use raised hand functions under reactions at the bottom of your screen. Grace for ourselves and one another. Take care of yourself, stretch, drink water, and breathe. Community building on Zoom, use chat and the reaction emojis to inspire and encourage one another. For any questions throughout the meeting, please use the Zoom chat. CBE and Backmaster staff will be responding to your questions. Happy holidays, y'all. So
on now we here for our community building. Oh, excuse me. Yes. So I thought you just did that, Ayana.
yeah, so community building, type in the chat your name, pronouns, affiliated organization. CSC members, please raise your hands if you're not able to type into the chat and we'll have you speak aloud.
Hi all, good evening. This is Alicia Xiao from the Air District. So this slide shows our timeline for the East Oakland SERP and where we are in the plan process. So we are in winter of 2023, and like our folks have mentioned, today we're going to hear from Compliance and Enforcement's 3-year report on enforcement findings, and we'll also be hearing about the proposed focus areas for strategy development. Both of these are essential components that are required in the SERP, and the insights we gathered today will shape the development of strategies and the creation of key plan elements coming into next year. So with that in mind, I will pass it to Janet to get us started.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Awesome. Yes. So yes. I just wanted to thank everyone for joining us today for this presentation. As you know, my name is Janet Crosco. I've been with the district for 4 years in compliance and enforcement, and today I'll be providing an overview of compliance data for the East Oakland community. You can skip to the next slide, please. So today's agenda, we're going to be covering our enforcement data from 2020 to November 2023, which provides insights into the different sources at facilities and sites within the community, and as well as share what our field staff has learned through the course of their work here. And then at the very end, we'll have a Q&A as well. You can go to the next slide, please. So we reviewed our enforcement data for the time period of 2020 through November 27th, 2023, which included compliance verification inspections, air quality complaints, and notices of violation. Similar to our work in other AB 617 communities, we have been using the data to help identify areas where there may be compliance concerns that need to be further inspected, or particular areas we need to patrol more often. The data helps inform field staff and management on areas that we need to focus on to target our resources in a more efficient and effective way to address community concerns. You can go to the next slide. Our data is focused on areas shown in this geographical overview of the East Oakland community, which is shown in different colors by the 5 zip codes listed at the bottom right of the slide. In this community, there are a total of 184 permitted facilities. Of these permitted facilities, 53 of them are gasoline dispensing facilities. Some other sources that are common in the East Oakland area are auto body coating operations and spray booths, and emergency generators. Since the closure of AB&I Foundry, there have been no Title V facilities in this area. You can go to the next slide. This slide shows detailed compliance verification inspection data. In the past 3 years, there were a total of 404 source inspections. The table on the right shows the number of source inspections we conducted from 2020 to 2023, broken down by year. You can go to the next slide, please. This slide shows an overview of the complaint data in the East Oakland area. The vertical y-axis shows complaint type, and the horizontal x-axis shows the number of complaints per category. The first bar on the graph is odor, and as you can see, odor is the most reported complaint type, making up 80% of the complaints reported. The table on the top right breaks down the number of complaints received by year. As you can see, there was a noticeable drop in complaints in 2023 in comparison to 2020 through 2022. This is due to AB&I stopping operations at the end of 2022. We still receive complaints in the area, and we have a slide later on in the presentation to show you which facilities the complaints are alleging. The table on the bottom right further breaks down the types of complaints received. The confirmation rate for complaints is approximately 11%. Odors are fleeting, and because of this, it is not easy to confirm these types of complaints. That said, our confirmation numbers have increased in the past years since we updated our complaint policy in 2022, which expanded our ability to confirm complaints. We are always trying to help communities understand how to report complaints with us. I will cover how the communities can file a complaint with the Air District later in the presentation. We have helpful tips online, informational videos, information translated in different languages, and we continuously are working to improve our reach to communities. We believe that these efforts may help to increase the confirmation rates in the area. I have a question here that I'm seeing. You can go to the next slide, that's okay, but I'm just gonna answer a few of these questions real quick. The first one being, what is Title V? Let me see if I'm reading these correctly, sorry. And I will try to slow down here, make sure my pace is going correctly so that they can translate. Okay, Title V is a program that basically allows us to monitor which facilities are higher polluters, and they have a certain threshold that they receive in order for them to be considered Title V. So these facilities have higher standards for regulatory monitoring, and they actually have to report a lot of those things to us themselves. And I can go into a little more detail about that later. I have a question here that says, what is the density of gasoline dispensing facilities in the area versus other parts of Oakland? That's a great question. Definitely something we can look at further. I don't have the answer to that right now, but I'd be happy to review that as well. Can you please define what is required for confirmation? Okay, Dennis replied to that one. Yeah, and then we will be going into more detail about the complaint program in the future. So I hope that kind of answers a little bit of what you guys were saying in the chat. So I'm just going to go on to the next slide. The pie chart, this pie chart here breaks down all the site facilities with alleged odor complaints in the last 3 years. You will also see that there are facilities where complaints are alleged maybe once or twice, which account for 4% of the overall total. We didn't list those facilities since they seem to be one-offs and may not be persistent issues. Based on our data, complaints alleging AB&I Foundry account for about 3/4 of the total complaints in East Oakland. And as previously mentioned, AB&I has since closed. In the following slides, I will go into more detail about the complaints we've received. You can go to the next slide, please. We use an online mapping tool called Easy Map Maker to help us better visualize the complaint data in the area. This tool allows us to create heat maps and pin cluster maps. In this presentation, we included maps that show general complaint locations and also maps that show complaints by alleged source. One important thing to note about the maps in the next 2 slides is that the information shown is not definitive. Okay, it is here to show us what's popping up as hotspots in the area, which could point us to evaluate further in the future. You can go to the next slide. The two heat maps on this slide both capture data from 2020 through November 2023. These heat maps show the general location of where the complainants are located and what areas may be impacted by alleged emissions. The labels or arrows highlight major cross streets to provide more perspective on the location where we are seeing neighborhoods impacted by air quality issues in relation to where they are being received. The annotations are not there to necessarily point out any specific source. Anonymous complaints are also not mapped here because those do not provide an address. The map on the left shows complainant locations and includes ABNI complaints, which have a largest concentration of complaints. When you remove ABNI complainants, as shown in the map on the right, we can see more varied locations of complaint traffic. Since ABNI Foundry is no longer in operation, we anticipate seeing a different pattern moving forward, which will require further analysis over time. Okay, you can go to the next slide, please. This pin map shows the locations of the sites and facilities alleged in the complainants for January through November 2023. As you can see with the brown push pins, odor is still the most reported complaint in the East Oakland area. The list on the right shows the alleged sites or facilities. The parentheses indicate the number of complaints we received for each alleged facility. You'll see that there were 12 complaints alleging single-family dwellings. For the most part, those complaints are associated with burning, cooking such as barbecues, paint and auto body, and a few asbestos complaints. Can you go to the next slide, please? This slide shows the notices of violation data in East Oakland. In the past 3 years, there were 65 notices of violation issued. Gasoline dispensing facilities were the most common violations that we've seen in East Oakland in these past few years. The second and third highest number of violations were permit-related violations, including sources that were found without an authority to construct, did not have a permit to operate, or had permit condition violations. Can you go to the next slide, please? This slide shows additional notice of violation data. This bar graph shows facilities that were issued more than one notice of violation, and as you can see, single-family dwellings receive the most notices of violation. These violations are related to administrative issues related to asbestos removal. This is followed by some gas stations. You can go to the next slide, please.
Sorry, Janet, I've received a request from the interpreters to please slow down a little bit. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. While having data to review and evaluate is helpful, we know that not everything always shows up as a data point, especially if there weren't any specific complaints that we know of or violations issued through our course of our inspection. The purpose of this slide is to capture what else we know about the East Oakland area beyond the data. This slide has a list of facilities, some of which are listed here because they were part of the problem statements identified to us by CBE and community members. In order to fill in the gaps, we also asked our field staff to let us know if there's anything else we should be aware of beyond what our data shows. Many of you may have heard about Green Sage, a cannabis cultivating facility in East Oakland. While that compliance issue is now resolved and was a successful enforcement case for us, there are other cannabis facilities in the area and these types of facilities continue to remain on our radar. Eagle Gas is a permitted gas dispensing, Eagle Gas is a gas dispensing facility. We noted it here because it is still currently unpermitted since 2019. We issued a violation in September 2021, and since then, there have been changes of ownership. Legal is currently trying to determine who is the responsible party for the tickets, and we are still trying to get that facility permitted. Martin Marietta is next to Gallagher and Burke. Like Argent, there was mention of fugitive dust concerns at the site that was conveyed to CBE and by the community. The site is currently unpermitted. Our field staff is still investigating at the site, and so we will have to provide an update at a later date. Okay, sorry. Can you go to the next slide, please? Thank you. Okay, this is the last slide of the presentation. I know we are scheduled to provide a more in-depth presentation in February regarding the air quality complaint program and investigation process. But we want to make sure we highlight this slide today for those of you who may not be familiar with reporting an air quality complaint. We recognize that community members are often the first to observe air quality concerns and violations in their communities. And we want to encourage communities to let us know by reporting a complaint so that we may conduct an investigation and inspection to pinpoint the source, site, or facility. The public can report a complaint in two ways, either online or by phone. On the right is an example of what our complaint form looks like online. If reporting by phone, our complaint hotline is available 24/7, including weekends and holidays. Outside of normal business hours, we have staff who are on call to respond to major incidents. Our phone line provides language interpretation services for over 150 different languages. We understand that there may be hesitancy to file a complaint due to concerns regarding confidentiality. We take confidentiality very seriously and do not share complaint information. Information such as complainants' names, address, and phone number are used to aid in the process of the investigation, but are not shared with anyone else. Our staff fully inspects and investigates each complaint received. We take appropriate enforcement actions if there are any violations discovered. They also assess the magnitude of the impact caused by the emission source and determine whether each complaint is confirmed or unconfirmed. And you can go to the last slide. And this is basically just a placeholder here for any questions. Just give me 1 second while I try to read through the chat to see if there's anything that I can answer that wasn't already answered. Okay. Okay, I think that that's all the questions that I see here in the chat, but if anybody wants to just open up for discussion, we can do that as well. Mr. Charles?
Hello, hello. Thank you for that presentation. I think that you kind of showed us what this work has been like, and let us know through those colored charts how what our complaints, what our most complaints were. And so I wanted to ask you if odor complaints are categorized as to what kind of odors that people are complaining of, because all odors aren't fleeting and they come from different places. And so the other thing is mold considered an emission by BACMed? Because we all know that mold stinks. And is the issue of finding or permitting being required for the proliferation of unregulated cooking sources throughout East Oakland that contaminates our atmosphere?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to just bring up one of those at a time so we can try to address them individually?
However you choose to do it.
Yeah, I feel like that was a lot of different questions kind of all at the same time, and I'd love to answer them. If you could just write me a message as well with all of that information, I think it'd be a lot easier for us to be able to answer those questions, unless anybody else on my team feels more equipped to answer all of that right now.
Or any of it, you can pick and choose one now.
Yeah, I feel like there was in the chat here a discussion about mold in and of itself, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm being consistent here. So mold specifically does not fall under our jurisdiction. It would fall under the county health department. And then there was also some information that was posted by EPA and OSHA in the chat, and I can go ahead and share that again as well if you would like to read into that.
Oh, fine. However you running this one tonight.
Okay. I can go ahead and share that again. It's for some reason my messages seem to want to direct message just one person right now. I'm not here. It says everyone. There we go. Sorry, I'm not familiar with this specific. Okay. It wants to share. Okay.
Janet, are you trying to repost the answer?
Yeah, I'm trying to copy.
How can I help you?
I was trying to copy Alicia's reply where she's showing specifically that information, the linked from EPA and OSHA about mold, since that isn't part of our jurisdiction.
Kalila, thank you so much. Kalila reposted it in the chat, so it's the most recent post.
Perfect. Yeah, for some reason my chat keeps pushing me all the way to the very top of the chat, so I have to keep like scrolling all the way back down. I don't know why that's happening, so sorry about that, guys.
No problem. Mr. Charles, do you see the link to the EPA.gov website and OSHA? Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like your questions are very much valid, and I feel like there was a lot there. So if we could get, I'm going to go ahead and post my email as well. If we could go ahead and get a statement from you with all of those questions, I think it'd be a lot easier for us to like answer all of them individually, because I don't want you to feel as though, those aren't being addressed. But unfortunately, I think that we're running out of time here for my part of the presentation.
We do have one more hand. Oh wait,
we have a couple hands.
More.
Okay, yeah, if you can tell me where they are.
Anish, who was next?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Gabrielle's next, and then we have Marina.
Perfect.
So at some point in your presentation, you mentioned that there was a facility that was operating without a permit that was unpermitted, and then you said you got them permitted. And I'm wondering if, if you see somebody operating without a permit, why is the goal to get them permitted? Which seems kind of like rewarding them for not doing the right thing. Why wouldn't you just shut them down rather than try and get somebody permitted, sort of to go kind of back and sort of make it okay what they were doing, which wasn't okay in the first place?
Yeah, I can take that one if you'd like. Hi, Paul Grazzini. I'm the area supervisor. So typically, the way it works is, say there's a facility that's operating without a permit. Basically, depending on, and this is situation dependent, but basically we show up, we will issue them a ticket for no authority to construct, no permit to operate. Technically speaking, they're supposed to cease operations until they get a permit. That doesn't always happen. The fact of the matter is that for every day they're in operation without having a permit, the penalty fines escalate. That's kind of the surface level. And you have to keep in mind, these facilities range, they can range from something as simple as a print shop that prints out, posters and flyers, to a larger facility. So when we have something like a larger facility, what we'll do is we'll actually we'll do a further investigation, get their records, see where they're operating. And if it's something that's egregious and is expressly would be prohibited by our regulations, we would actually take measures to shut them down. In most cases, that's not what's going on. It's just a matter of them needing a permit with the air district and then meeting the requirements of what that permit would entail. So usually we have operational limits or emission limits, or would require certain abatement equipment. If they have combustion sources or whatever, we would require abatement equipment. I will say though, once we've issued that ticket, if they continue operating, they're basically incurring increased penalties for every day of operation is how that works. And it's dependent on what the facility is, what they're doing, what their pollutants are, the magnitude of their pollutants. In most cases, for us to shut a facility down, it takes we have to take that to Superior Court. It takes a court order. We don't have expressed authority to shut a facility down immediately. Basically in most cases. I hope that satisfies the question.
Yeah, and I'd like to correct myself. I unfortunately misspoke. That's why you saw me kind of stutter for a second there. We actually have not permitted this facility yet. We're still talking to the engineers and still figuring out what those penalties are like. And there was an issue with not knowing specifically who the owner is currently, since the ownership was transferred. So we haven't issued that permit yet, just to be clear.
So I feel like this is a bigger discussion and I don't want to take up too much time, but I would really like to know sort of how, what is the sort of cost benefit analysis of this? And does this take into account the effects on the air quality? Because I'm wondering if somebody who operates without a permit is actually going to have an easier path to operation than somebody who went through the whole process the correct way from the start. And it would be interesting to see kind of how, how many resources from the Air District are actually going into sort of working with these engineers to help people who should never have been operating without a permit get their operation legal, versus how much would go into enforcement. And also, like, there's a lot of examples of things kind of getting slid in under the rug, like the crematorium, for example. And I just really wonder how much oversight is happening of these specific cases, and I guess how common this is. And maybe this is something that requires a later report, but I think we need more transparency on that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for your comment. And that's definitely something we can look into and try to make sure is, not replicated. We definitely don't want to make it so that facilities feel like this is a, better way to operate, which is without a permit. So thank you for that comment. And I'm going to go to Marina, sorry.
Sí, mi comentario es, yes, my comment is, it's similar to what they were talking about. Yes. I also say if since 2019, as they're saying, they have those gas stations that don't have permits, how many years has it been there operating without us knowing what the pollution is that is giving our how it's polluting our community, right? So I've heard that many times they're also focused on smaller businesses to make sure they have their permits and that their permits are up to date. Why not just focus on the businesses that have a larger operation than the smaller ones? For example, those food related. These are people who have sometimes their stands or small businesses, and sometimes we just focus on those people, on the poor people. Why, with those who have more resources, why don't we observe to demand that they have those permits? Because we know that with those permits they can qualify to continue operating. There's like 2021, 22, 23. There's 4 or 5 years that this gas station hasn't had a permit and continues operating, and simply because they have money, because they're not poor. Because if it would have been a small poor business, they would have shut it down immediately. So I believe it's unfair that we do all that, because we need to monitor more and see, as you said, they can't shut down these businesses until they go to a court. I agree, but that's why we're here. We have to continue working. We have to monitor that our facilities are working well, because the same thing is going to happen that with the big factory that was polluting us. Until one, as an organizer of CBE, until we focused on that, we discovered all that pollution, what they hadn't found before, the ones who were higher up in the offices. Us as organizers, we went out into the streets to monitor, to know. So we have to work harder, and we have to go be out there to see those problems in the communities, because to be honest, I'm angry, because why the small businesses are monitored and then they shut down their businesses, and why a large business that's had 5 years, they haven't been able to shut it down. Thank you.
Did the translators want to translate that so that people kind of know the general gist of what she said, and then I can reply in Spanish? Or
Janet, we have simultaneous interpretation, so everybody has heard Marina's question in English. So you can go ahead and answer it if you want.
Okay. Sí, yo entiendo cómo se mira. Yo creo que la primera cosa.
Yeah, I do understand how it seems. And I can relate to a lot of things that you said, but I'd like to comment on all the businesses level. We're referring to Title V. So these are the ones that are giving more production to the community and have the possibility of having more resources, and surely they have more money and they're bigger in industrially. And we monitor those businesses more than other facilities that are smaller. And when we specifically our regulations, they don't give us a lot of the cases where we can close the facilities in a fast or easy way. There's a lot of things that we have to do to close the business. With this type of business specifically, we were researching, and I believe there's a possibility that gas is still not operating, but that they still want to continue. So we haven't yet taken those procedures of giving them their permit. We're still investigating the situation and looking into who is the owner, because ownership has changed several times. And I understand that is something that can be very annoying, because there's areas where people have their facilities closed. But in this area, I haven't seen in the Air District that we have closed a business in that area. I don't know if you've heard, but from what I've seen the last 3 years, I haven't seen that that has happened with any small business. And as to the inspections, we always take a look at the areas where sorry, I'm looking at some of the comments. I'm looking at the areas where we have more trafficking or areas where there's more complaints. We are monitoring more of those areas. And we're looking into the resources and the science in that area to see what's happening. I don't know if that helps you understand the question. I wanted to be able to give you a brief explanation.
I don't know if she's replying or not, or if I have to go to a different interpretation, or should I go to the next question?
Sí, está bien.
Okay.
Yes, that's fine. Thank you for your answer.
I have time for one more person?
Yes.
Okay.
Shamar. It seems that Shamar sent their question in chat as well.
Okay. Okay, let me scroll down to it. Can you read it to me if possible? My chat just keeps scrolling all the way to the tippy top, and I have to keep scrolling all the way back down, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a comment on what's the point of having regulations if they're not actually going to be enforced actively? Is it just supposed to be advisory?
Yeah, so our regulations and standards are, no matter the area or location, are across the board the same processes. Unfortunately, that does take a lot of due diligence on our part. And, as much as we wish we had the resources to get these things processed, immediately and to get that resolved, we do try to do our best to, listen to the facility and kind of have a dialogue there and make sure that they're getting permitted and going through those processes correctly. As Paul had mentioned previously, our biggest way of making sure that people are in compliance is by producing these penalties and by adding, added on consequences.
Interpretation's not working.
Oh, sorry. Is there anything I can do to make it work?
Mossam, did you hear that? Someone said the interpretation is not working. Folks, just, if you make sure you choose the right channel. After you click on the globe, choose either English or Spanish.
Yeah, it's going in and out. It's not working now. It's not completely, it was completely muted. It was working before for me. It's just weird.
Carol, are you in the English channel?
Yes.
Okay, well,
can you hear me now, Miss Carol?
I can hear you, Ayana, but I think Janet was talking and I could see her mouth moving, but I couldn't hear anything.
But it was in Spanish.
Janet was talking in English and the interpretation was in Spanish.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything either way, just muted.
This whole process is going to be weird till 8. Just please be patient. We're going to make it flow and do it.
Sorry, go ahead. I'll catch up. Sorry.
Right. We're going to catch you up. It's Mercury retrograde. It's going to do this till 8. Let's just roll with it, and we're going to work together to figure it out.
Thanks, Ayana. And Carol, it seemed to be working fine for me. I don't know if others were struggling. If it helps, maybe you could leave the meeting and come back. Maybe it needs some sort of a restart. But I can also help you as an aside. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll try getting out because it was working and it just stopped in mid. midway when she was speaking.
Okay, thanks. Sorry, go ahead, Shannon.
Sorry, I think we can go to the next question if there's another one in this chat here. The browser. So I can reply to Gabrielle's comment of the goal to be in dialogue with facilities rather than being in dialogue with the community. I definitely feel as though being in dialogue with the community is also very, very important. And we want to make sure that we are getting the information of the complaint system out there for everyone to make sure that they can be letting us know what's going on in their communities and if they're experiencing any kind of odor or any other potential source of pollution or contamination for our air quality, that they are feeling equipped to communicate with us and that we do take that very seriously. The point of this meeting was to show you the last 3 years of work that we have done and the complaints that we have looked into and investigated, and to encourage everyone to please, be the eyes and ears for us as well. Our inspectors do go out and do patrols frequently, but we do patrol based on not only the general area, but also based on the complaints that we're receiving. So if there's areas, as we showed on the hotspots in those maps, that are bigger problems, then that's where we're going to be going and doing more patrols for. So it is really imperative to just work hand in hand with the community to make sure that everybody's complaints come in and we know where those issues and sources are. And then Paul, I don't know if you see that last comment that came in, if you wanted to reply to that.
I'm working my way through the comments. My typing is not as fast as everybody else. So I'm getting there. I'll get to it.
Okay. Do we have time for more questions that aren't in the chat?
DJ, what's our time like?
We have 5 more minutes remaining in this section before we need to head off to break.
Okay,
Mr.
great, thank
Charles,
you. Maybe we could take, yeah. Yeah, maybe we could take Mr. Charles and Miss Cecilia. I don't think we've heard from Miss Cecilia, and then maybe we can close out this agenda item. Mr. Charles?
Oh, I was going to let Miss Cecilia go before me since we haven't heard from her.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm very concerned about these different commercial businesses not applying for permits. I want to know, are you guys partnering with other resources to help you get this taken care of?
Yeah, absolutely. When we see facilities that are not in compliance with us, there is a likelihood that they are also not in compliance with other agencies. So we do try to collaborate with them and make sure that they are reaching those standards just across the board. So in our permitting process, we try to get them, going down that path as well. But like I said, we do also communicate with other agencies and make sure that across the board they are getting, in compliance.
Was that sufficient for you, Miss Cecilia? I hope we didn't lose her. Okay, so
Miss Cecilia, are you muted?
It looks like it.
didn't mute myself. I
There
did
you
mute
go.
myself. I was only
Oh,
saying
Jesus.
that we really should have some type of penalty for those that don't want to follow the protocol. And I feel that should be some kind of way. We should have, that should be put in place.
Yeah, absolutely. In our current protocols, those come out as fines and penalties that have to be paid regardless of if that facility ends up getting permitted or not. Those fines are needing to be done and issued, and we do take those to our legislative team, and they're the ones that go out and pursue these and pursue legal action against people that are not in compliance with us. So that is our course of action for those things, and we do try to hold them to that standard.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cecilia. And my question is going to be a follow-up on yours, because once like you find out that someone has been out of compliance and operating for a number of years, are there any cumulative fines? Are there any cumulative penalties that reach all the way back retroactively to the time you guys first found out they were operating out of compliance? And is that, and are those fines being helped to incorporate and employ more enforcement officers? Because that's what I think we're hearing, is that there aren't enough enforcement officers in the first place. So I think that's something that our CERP could work on, is maybe that's something that we can add into our strategies along with what Gabrielle said, because we do need more enforcement people in this area. So that should be a strategy that we pursue, I hope.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I don't have any specific examples in the East Oakland area, but as a person that was previously in inspection, as an inspection staff in compliance and enforcement, I can't say that I have had facilities that I have helped file abatement orders for, where we do go and do the full long briefing of the history of this facility, how it's not been in compliance for X amount of years, and how they do need penalties associated with that, and our legal team does take all of that into account when issuing the fines and when issuing abatement orders, which are in ways like a cease and desist order saying, you need to fix this, or we're gonna do our best to try to get this place in order. So
Janet, let me jump in here. So hi everyone. I'm Misha Nishiki. I'm an attorney with the Air District. So yeah, Mr. Charles, that was a really good question. If we discover a facility that has been operating without a permit for a number of years, we of course issue them a ticket. And the number of years that they have been operating without a permit, they are not only charged back fees for, I believe, up to 5 years on the engineering end in order to get their permit, but also from the legal team, we look at how long they've been out of compliance, and we assess quite significant penalties to deter any future non-compliance with our regulations, and to also get them to apply for a permit. If at the time that they receive the notice of violation, as Paul and Janet explained, they do not cease operations. Every single day is another day of violation, and they are accruing penalties. Also, let's say we have a facility that is just thumbing their nose at the district and is just not going, they say, well, I don't think I need to get a permit, I'm going to keep on operating. Then we do take those matters very seriously, and we utilize our hearing board, and we bring abatement orders to them. Abatement orders they have various functions. So one function is to seek an abatement order to shut down the facility, and we have done that in the past. Let's say we get that order from the hearing board and the facility keeps on operating. At that point, that's when we would go into Superior Court, and we'd get a court order also to shut down the facility. So I do think that like I agree with everybody, and I just want everyone to know that we really are taking these cases where facilities are operating without a permit extremely seriously. We're bringing significant legal actions against them. So not only are they paying penalties to punish the facilities for not complying with us, but in order for them to get a permit, they also have to pay fees to our engineering team, because that is who issues the permits. And I think they explained that in one of these past monthly meetings to everybody. So I hope that makes things a bit clear. And yes, I agree. I do think we need more inspectors out there. And I do encourage, community members to contact us or submit a complaint if you discover a facility operating without a permit. We would love for you to tell us if that is occurring.
And to train community members to be inspectors.
I'm sorry?
And to invest in training community members to be inspectors.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Thanks. Thanks, Mr. Charles. Thanks, Misha. Thanks, Janet. Thank you, everyone. We're going to take a short break now and be back in a couple of minutes, say around 7. Thank you so much, and please continue popping in your questions in chat if you have any that we didn't get to. Welcome back from the break, folks. Apologies. I know it was short. We will try to ensure everyone gets at least 5 minutes moving forward. Carissa, can we have the screen up again? Thank you. Okay, so we have Alicia and Kim on proposed focus areas for strategy development.
Thanks, Mawsum, and welcome back, everybody. I hope you did get a moment for some self-care during our brief break. Just to reintroduce myself to anyone who I haven't had the chance to do that to yet, my name is Kim Ryan. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a part-time researcher at CBE, Communities for a Better Environment, supporting the AB 617 work. So before we dive in to the slides for our proposed focus areas for strategy development, I just wanted to kind of ground us, because we're shifting gears from hearing from enforcement and the work that they have been doing over the past few years to now thinking about our strategy development process. So just as a reminder, during our November steering committee meeting, we shared results from the community mapping project. And with those, we had shared several themes of community concerns that and community priorities that were gathered from that project. Since then, we've taken that information, in addition to information we got from the facility focus list and our steering committee meetings, and we've organized those into focus areas. So in the coming slides, I'll be sharing a bit more about those. Next slide, please, Carissa. So goals for this portion of the presentation, of today's presentation, are to review some of the proposed focus areas that we've come up with, and also go over some examples of what they might include. And then we were very interested to gather input from steering committee members, because our aim is to ensure that these are representing also concerns that you're aware of and that you have for yourself as well. The goal here is to gather that feedback, and so that we can take the next step towards strategy development. Next slide, please. So this slide has a graphic that just reminds us a little bit about what the focus areas are, what we're calling focus areas. So I mentioned that we started by gathering community input, both from the community mapping project, from the facility focus list, from our steering committee meetings. And we combined those community concerns and priorities with technical information that was shared with the steering committee by the Air District in the emissions inventory, for example, and also other technical information like the health and equities presentation that Alameda County Public Health Department presented, I think back in maybe it was August. So we took these community priorities and concerns, the technical information, and essentially organized all of that into themes that will help us to really organize our strategies within those themes. So ultimately, the focus areas are basically themes that represent these community concerns and priorities to help us organize our strategy development efforts. Next slide, please. So the focus areas are also really helpful. We're expecting them to be very, very helpful as a way to also share important information about the SERP, not just with community members, but also with elected officials and our agency partners. A lot of the feedback that we've heard from many steering committee members in the community mapping project and in other places, a lot of the community concerns that we hear in East Oakland might not necessarily be directly within the power of the Air District. And so being able to communicate with agency partners who do have the power to enact a change and implement the strategies we might be interested in, those are very important. Next slide, please. Thanks, Carissa. So I thought it would be helpful to just kind of have a visual of where the focus areas lie within the East Oakland AB 617 SERP. And this slide gives us a visual of some of the main components of the SERP. At the top is the East Oakland SERP vision statement. So that really encompasses much of the work that we do. And then part of that are the principles that were decided upon for the East Oakland SERP. We have our plan level goals that also reflect the vision and principles. And then we have focus areas. And so we're proposing 5 different focus areas. And we're thinking of these as a tool that will help us organize our different strategies. The aim is that the focus areas, just like everything else on the slide, would align with the vision and principles that were decided upon for this SERP. And so in the coming few slides, I will present the different proposed focus areas, and then we'll hear from Alicia on more specifics about what those might include. Next slide, please. Thank you. So this slide shows us the 5 proposed focus areas that we've been developing, we, the co-leads and the co-chairs. And we're proposing these focus areas based on, again, all the information that we've been collecting over the many, many months, over a year, I think at this point. And the focus areas that we're proposing are just examples. These aren't necessarily set in stone, but we're interested in getting feedback now so that we can help solidify them as we start moving into strategy development. So I'll read through these here, and then again, we'll be hearing from Alicia in a couple of slides to get more information about what each of these focus areas might actually address. So the first is one that we heard a lot about during the community mapping results presentation, and that is illegal dumping, trash, and odors. The second one is public health and community wellness. And this also came through with a lot of the input that we gathered from the community mapping project. The third proposed focus area for strategy development is commercial and industrial sources. So you can think of these as like facilities in many ways. The fourth is transportation and mobile sources. So that would include everything from trucks to airplanes and railroads. And then the fifth proposed focus area is built environment and land use. And so within this context, we're thinking about the built environment as human-made structures or surroundings, and how those are impacting the lives of East Oakland residents. Next slide, please. Thanks, Carissa. So before we dive into what each of these focus areas might include, I wanted to just propose that participants keep these 2 questions in mind, because we're really interested in hearing your input on these after we go through the details of the focus areas. So the questions are, for the focus areas, are there any community concerns that resonate with you that aren't represented, you don't think are represented in the proposed focus areas? So something that might be lacking or could fall through the cracks that we should be aware of. And then the second question that we'd like you to keep in mind for the next few slides is there a proposed focus area that you feel most drawn to work on for strategy development? So those 2 questions, please do keep those in mind as Alicia starts to present in more detail what the proposed focus areas would include. And Alicia, I'll pass it over to you for the next few slides.
Great. Thank you, Kim. And thanks, Krista. So as Kim mentioned, I will provide a bit more detail on the proposed focus areas and the types of strategies for each of the focus areas. The types of strategies are not meant to be comprehensive at all. but just to provide some examples of strategies to address each of the focus areas. So this slide here shows our first focus area, which is illegal dumping, trash, and odors. This has been a major concern raised in several steering committee meetings and a big theme that was illustrated in the community mapping project. Strategies around this focus area involve collaborating with partner agencies to develop longer-term solutions, removing abandoned cars and trash, and preventing fires and odors caused by burning trash in the area. Next slide, please. Next, for our second focus area, we have public health and community wellness. This focus area emerged from the community mapping project and feedback heard from you, steering committee members, in our brainstorming session in November. Examples of strategies here would involve enhancing indoor air quality through measures like air filtration systems, home upgrades, and transitioning to electrical appliances. Strategies could also focus on building resiliency hubs within the community and also supporting emergency community responses. Launching education campaigns came as a big way to address and bring outreach to the community about addressing physical and mental health impacts of air pollution. Next slide, please. Our third focus area we want to talk about is the commercial and industrial sources focus area. So these are covering places like manufacturing, recycling, hazardous waste facilities, auto body shops, and gas stations, as we heard from compliance and enforcement, is varied within the community. We also include warehouses and other truck attracting businesses, which came out of the facility focus list as a major concern in the community. Also, equipment within these facilities, such as backup diesel generators, would be included in this area as well. To address these facilities and equipment, strategies around this focus area include solutions to minimize harm from these, also exploring improved inspections for compliance, and addressing needs for permitting and rule updates. Next slide, please. Next, we will focus on our fourth focus area, which includes transportation and mobile sources. This is where we would address traffic, pollution, and safety concerns related to vehicles, highways, airport and railways. Strategies involve making public transportation more accessible, ensuring safe routes for pedestrians and cyclists. Strategies also to address this focus area would support cleaner transportation by providing incentives for fuel efficiency or incorporating zero emission operations, along with supporting infrastructure changes like electrical vehicle charging stations. Next slide, please. And so our final proposed focus area is the built environment and land use. And the built environment covers human-made structures and surroundings like housing and recreational spaces such as parks. So strategies involving this focus area include finding solutions for harms from previous land use decisions, promoting updates to zoning to create more green spaces, enhancing housing affordability, and increasing community involvement before permit and project approval. And so those are our 5 proposed focus areas. I wanted to pause here for questions before we open it up for discussion with those 2 questions in mind. So I can pause here. Okay, if no questions, we can move to our discussion. Next slide, please. And I see Mr. Charles' hand up, so I can pass it to you, Mr. Charles.
Yes, you asked about, did we see anything that was missing? And throughout the theme of that, what I saw that was missing is there was no workforce development conversation for community members in any of those. And I would love to see workforce partnering with local organizations to hire community members to do the cleanups, since that's out of you guys' jurisdiction. I would love to see us hiring community members to install infiltration systems in new and outdated buildings, train and hire community complaint enforcement members, and to train and hire community members for air monitoring, and being able to actually involve us and invest in us in doing this work. Because all of these themes have one thread that community members are missing, and that's being paid to participate in the process to help clean up their own neighborhoods. And I would hope that now we can add that theme into this.
Thank you, Mr. Charles, for your comments. We are taking notes as a part of our discussion. And okay, I can pass it to Marina with her hand up.
Yes, I would say the same as Charles. What we need is work for our communities, right? Training for our young people. I'm very interested in those young people. Those young people can be trained and they can do this work that we have ahead of us. Because I know that by ourselves we can't do it. We need to involve our communities with work. Let them be partners, let them monitor, let the young people monitor, right? They need to focus because they're students, and we need to educate them beginning now. They need to understand what's polluting us, what are our strategies, what are the strategies that we're doing, that we're doing with this such an important work. For me, young people have always been very important. We need to have resources so we can employ them. For example, like Charles says, to pick up would be to do those studies that we're going to be working on, to do the work that needs to be done. Young people, I would include them as well in these strategies.
Thank you, Marina. I agree. Young people will be included in these strategies. We're taking note of that. Also, I posted in the chat a couple of the discussion questions Kim and I would like you to consider, and we've already started this discussion, so really great to hear from you all what might not be represented in the proposed focus areas. And I see Michaela, I'll pass it to you.
Yeah, thank you. Just to kind of like add on to all of that. Yeah, for the like commercial and industrial business kind of focus area, I know I'm really interested it may be the idea of like relocating businesses or supporting their transition in like a just transition way. So also including like the workers and the employees, but also thinking about like the community. So I would want to see that for sure. And then I think this next one kind of fits into a few different categories, but definitely like increasing the overall walkability of Deep East Oakland. Yeah, supporting like more transit in Deep East Oakland. Also kind of like looking at the transit infrastructure we already have. Like I know AC Transit has a lot of zero emission buses that I always see going to the bus garage, not in service, but not actually riding around in our communities. So yeah, I think it would be cool to have stuff like that also.
Great. Thank you, Michaela, for your thoughts. I also see Janina sharing in your thoughts about just transition. She writes, I'm interested in a just transition plan for workforce development. And also just reading her other comment for industrial, also interested in a policy that bans new polluting and extra active industries in the city. And then we also have Rose sharing in the chat along with Charles's sentiment about workforce development work going through smaller grassroots organizations that we've heard of in the past. So we're definitely saving the Zoom chat here to incorporate these into our notes as well. So I see Miss Cecilia first and then Gabrielle next. Miss Cecilia?
Yes, I just wanted to make a comment. I wanted to say that we don't have on this transportation list about the potholes in East Oakland, which is really dangerous. It's not safe at all. And I also wanted to say that we're going to have more safety measures for our seniors. Because right now, if you come in East Oakland right now, these cars right here, just right here in the streets, they're going too fast. They're making those donuts out there. It's just terrible. And that's not good at all. So we're going to have to figure out something to do to make East Oakland safe for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cecilia. We hear you. Safety is a big concern, and safety for everyone on the streets is important. Thank you. I have Gabrielle next. Gabrielle?
Sure. So one area that I am not sure is fully captured because it came up in the health assessment was how much pollution is actually generated by friction on the roads from tires, and it was actually pretty significant. And I'm not sure I see anything in those focus areas that really addresses that outside of maybe transit. But in terms of reducing commercial friction, is there anything that can be done there? And then, if there's one area I'm drawn to, I mean, I second everything that everybody else has said. I think we need workforce development. We need, we need all this stuff. Also, I think the resiliency thing is actually pretty important too, because that's also a way for us to, like a resiliency hub is like it's a way for us to kind of form our own community power, I think, and I think that's going to be an important thing, and that's also going to kind of help us keep the community engaged in this process, but also it's just something that's going to be increasingly necessary as we're dealing with climate change and things like that. Thanks.
Thanks, Gabrielle. Yes, we road dust and dust control, construction dust, all of that's very important. Yeah, we'll take note of that. It'll most likely maybe across cover, commercial and industrial focus area as well as the mobile area as well. So we'll have things that will be covered in various focus areas as well. So thanks for your attention to that, as well as the resiliency hubs within the community. Also wanted to note, yes, Cynthia's comment in the chat, just mentioning AC Transit is trying to cut some of the bus lines. So that'll be important to consider as we think about strategies to address the streets and transportation within the community. I see Andrea's hand up.
Yeah, thank you. I think the thing that I seen not represented was like planting trees and making the like mini parks in East Oakland like breathable spaces. Just seeing more greenery out there. And then the area that I was most attracted to was the illegal dumping and the trash.
Great, thank you. We will note that, as well as your interest in the first proposed focus area on illegal dumping. If folks have interest in the focus areas, you're drawn to one or more of the proposed focus areas, we can take note of that. I can post the questions again in the chat here, as well as the proposed focus areas. And Andrea, did we get to your question fully? We still have your hand raised.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to just say what I felt wasn't represented and what I was drawn to, and I'll lower my hand. Yeah.
Thank you. And then I do see Mr. Charles and Miss Cecilia. Go ahead.
I wanted to just remind everybody where we are right now. When this first started, illegal dumping and trash wasn't a part of this. But now, through us doing our work in the field and getting people to participate in the social pinpointing, we made our voices heard. We made our voices heard, y'all. This was not a priority. This was something that they said was actually had nothing to do with them. And now look at the turn of events. This is what this whole SERP is about. It's about us dictating our own destiny and describing to them what our problems are and saying, hey, this is a priority to us. It might not be to you, but we live here. And now we had this opportunity. And I just want to thank everybody for participating in this and just take the moment to realize we made our voices heard, y'all. We made our voices heard.
Thank you, Mr. Charles. I couldn't agree more in extending our gratitude for your all's engagement. I think we'll, seeing what time it is, I think we're going to take Miss Cecilia, if that's okay. And then Kim will talk about next steps.
Okay, I just wanted to add to this abandoned cars. We have abandoned trailers and trucks that need to be removed off the streets of East Oakland. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cecilia. And if folks also want to place in the chat any proposed focus areas they're drawn to, please feel free to do so. I will also note what the proposed focus areas are, but wanted to thank you all for your discussion, really great feedback for us to take back and pass it to Kim.
Thanks, Alicia. Chris, do you mind screen sharing again for our next step slide? Thank you. Yeah, and thank you very much, everybody, for your thoughts on the focus areas. And do please continue to share any thoughts in the chat. Your feedback is extremely important and is, as Alicia mentioned, we're taking notes so that we can incorporate your feedback as we start to get moving onto solidifying what the focus areas would be. So looking at our next steps, as I mentioned, we will incorporate comments from tonight's discussion into these developing focus areas. And so that when we come back for the February 2024 steering committee meeting, we'll have an opportunity to start brainstorming strategy development guided by the focus areas. And just, you know, as a note, as a reminder of where we are here, the focus areas are really helping us organize the strategies that are needed for the SERP in order to implement the SERP. And so we'll be developing strategies and actions that can be taken within those strategies to address concerns we've heard tonight, concerns we've heard that we've gathered through the community mapping and elsewhere. And so we're really starting to get going, which is very exciting. And I think, Chris, if you can go to the next slide. We're going to be passing it over to Ayana, Mr. Charles, and Michaela for the EJ announcements and updates, unless there are any last questions.
Hey, y'all. Oh, thanks.
Thanks, Carly. Yeah, I was going to say thanks, everybody. But I'll pass it along. Thanks, Carly.
Yeah, thank you all. Yeah, we'll go through some environmental justice announcements and updates, by the way. Mr. Charles, I'm not sure if you had something to share, or Ayana.
Did you want to go first, Charles, or shall I?
Go ahead, Ayana.
Happy holiday, CSC members. To your attention, you know, right now we all work together in environmental justice, but I know we all have our own personal lives that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And I heard a lot of you guys speaking that there are material responsibilities that you wanted to handle in life. So we actually do have a program, and it's called Keep People Housed. Because you guys are Oakland residents, if you guys are behind on rent or utilities, we have care coordinators within the city of Oakland through BACS and other organizations that work together to assist you in keeping your stability in your housing. So I wanted to put that information in chat for you, and I'll give you a number. For a contact, I am a care coordinator and I'll be able to assist you, and the flyers are in chat. The number is for East Oakland Collective, that's the East Oakland office, and it can be reached at 510-990-0775, extension 701. Again, that's 510-990-0775, extension 701. And if you are moving in Oakland, they also assist with move-in fees. So if you're behind on utilities or rent at this time, they do assist, and that's the program. Happy holidays, and we'll see you soon.
Ayana, thank you so much for that announcement, because it just let our community members know the other work we do outside of this space. You know, and outside of this space, you know, me and Ayana were thinking about how could we help our SERP and this East Oakland community help itself. And so we applied for an air monitoring grant with CARD. And we were blessed. Lifers Leaving a Legacy.
And Let's Get It Networks.
Yes. Well, the first grant I actually ever participated in and helped write. And we were blessed with a $300,000 community air monitoring grant.
Yay.
Yes, yes. And we want to support our SERP members in getting educated and learning about the air monitoring system, because we want to see community.
Include you guys too.
Yes, that's what we saying. Our CERT members.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
You guys will be had a first opportunity to be a part of this. And what it is that we want to make sure that unaccounted for surface source pollutants are being recognized. That's why I was so concerned about the odor, because some odors are longer lasting than others, but they're not being accounted for. Different kinds of particulate matter coming off of abandoned vehicles. So we wanna be able to employ you guys to take out handheld monitors when you see a sideshow and be able to monitor that air quality before, right when it's happening, and for how long it lasts. Because East Oaklanders or Black East Oaklanders are dying faster than everybody in this county. And so I really believe that unaccounted for surface source pollutions are a part of that. And now we have the opportunity to give you guys the opportunity to empower yourselves and learn about your community. And I'm just glad that we have you guys here to work with us.
And we're working hard for you, so we expect that in exchange, and we'll build together. Congratulations, CSC.
Yes.
Great. Thank you all for that. Yes, another announcement. So I don't know if some of you knew, but we had 2 youth seats that were vacant that are now filled. So yeah, CBE and BACMed have looked over all the youth applications. We're happy to introduce them in the coming year in February. One of them, their name, is Becca. They work in the AB 617 area, and they're a current undergrad senior at SF State studying Africana Studies. They also are a community organizer with People's Programs Organization in West Oakland and a lead storyteller with Hope Collaborative in Oakland. Lastly, they are an herbalist that owns Bantam Healing Apothecary, a business dedicated to healing all people holistically. I asked for that little blurb from them, so thankfully they sent me that. We have another youth member, goes by the name of Huan, Huan, parentheses, Katie Lang, and she is a junior at Oakland High, so we're happy to introduce them in the coming year, and they'll be starting coming to the meetings in February. Another update is, so for the CSC meeting coming in February, we have been trying to, or at least the Air District has been trying to lock down a place where we can have some in-person meetings. Definitely trying to make sure that we can have them hybrid, especially for those folks who can't be in person, to make it a bit more accessible. So BACMed had released an accessibility poll to CSC members a few months back to ask what accessibility needs were for potential in-person meetings. And we are moving forward with the in-person meetings. So that poll will be reshared, hopefully by tomorrow to you all, but just look out for an email for the accessibility poll that asks about, any food allergies, childcare, etc. And if a majority of people prefer having in-person meetings, and we'll just see how they go once we have them. If people like it, we want to make sure that we're making it accessible for everyone and that a majority of people are enjoying the in-person meetings / hybrid meetings. Yes. And let's see. Also, our plan in February is to get materials out a bit sooner so you all can view that. Further in advance to meetings in response to CSC members' requests for more time to view slides. And let's see, lastly, there will be an Argent facility tour in January, and there will also be a poll sent out for this. So Bill Crottinger from Argent has offered to give us a tour of the Argent 2 facility sites in January. So that's January 20th or January 27th. I can also write it in the chat. So those are the two options for the dates, and the times are both the same on those dates from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. So this tour would include transportation provided by Argent, some refreshments, probably some pamphlets to fill out, you know, just to jot down some notes during the tour for you all, and a discussion at the end of the tour lasting for about 30 minutes, possibly longer. And yeah, we'll send you all out an email for the date and time which works best for you. So please be on the lookout for that as well. Thank you.
So I think we're at closeout time now. And I just want everybody to take, oh, Kimmy Watkins.
Charlie.
Go ahead.
Hi, sorry that I'm not on camera, but I just wanted to let members know that the Public Health Department will be releasing a couple of RFPs, requests for projects around violence prevention in the next few weeks. We'll make sure to send the application information to the staff who coordinate this meeting so that you all can get the information and share it with community organizations who are interested in receiving funding to support community-based violence prevention efforts. I will also share other funding opportunities that are going to be put out by healthcare services through the same way so that you all can help us get the word out. Yeah, so we can see some of those resources come into East Oakland.
Thank you, Kimmy, so much. And violence prevention in any kind of way is so much important to our communities. I just wanted to say, if you guys look at the time, it's 7:44. When have we ever finished a meeting this early before? And with such good news at the end. Nothing but financial opportunities, economic opportunities, empowerment opportunities for our community members, our steering committee members, as we proceed into the coming year. Man, could it get any better for 2024, y'all? I just want to thank you guys because it is our closeout time. And I want to say thank you for joining, for having a wonderful meeting. It was so positive and informative. And oh, go ahead, Marina.
Charlie, I just wanted to thank you for all this information that you've given us. Could I ask you for a favor? Could you send me that information in an email so I can share with all those people that are being evicted from their homes and that they have all these needs? Through message would be a lot better for me. Thank you also for this work that you're giving our community, for our young people that need work, and thank you for filling out this application so we could get this money donated. That's what we need, that we get these donations so we can do something in our community. Because without resources, we can't get up to do the work we want to do and to make the changes. Thank you.
Thank you, Marina. And Miss Cecilia?
Yes, before you close, I just wanted to tell you to please contact me because I misplaced your number. I can talk to you about this.
Okay. I would do that.
Thank you.
And I would hope all of us would hope for Christmas that our CERP get a great grant writer.
Yes. Happy holidays and happy
holidays, everyone.
Thank you.
I hope Santa gives everybody what they want and what they need.
Don't hang up. I'm getting on. Same to you.
All right.
Hold on. Just stay on.
We got somebody who wants to speak.
You guys have.
the chat that I'm trying to email to myself. So if you guys hang up the chat, I won't be able to get it all. So if we could stay on just for a couple of more minutes until I forward all this stuff to myself, I'd appreciate it.
Okay. Well, while we're on, does anybody need any access to toy drives or anything since we're waiting?
Call me, Ayana.
I definitely will, Miss Cunningham.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
No, now I got to do a survey. Just 1 second.
If you do need access, we're doing a winter wonderland on Christmas Eve at the West Oakland Youth Center. And we will have the NFL players will be putting on a toy drive. Well, they'll be giving out toys and have a winter wonderland at West Oakland Youth Center from 11 to 4 on Christmas Eve. So you can register at FamFirstFamilyFoundation.org, and I'll put it in chat. FamFirstFamilyFoundation.org, and you can register your family. I'll put that in there for you if you guys want to register. There you go.
Yeah, just 1 second. You guys giving out a lot.
Sorry,
hey, Danny, I see your hand is up.
Yes, Danny.
Did you want to say something?
Danny?
I think the meeting's basically over. We're just making sure
everybody
Tyra
gets the information.
Yeah. But Danny, if you had any lingering things but you can't unmute, please feel free to email us. And we'll try to get back to you.
Yes. And I also wanted to say there will be an East Oakland listening session on December 12th for us to learn about
you mean January 12th?
Yeah, thank you. That's what you always got my back. And so I wanted to I'm gonna have that information forwarded to everyone so that we can find out on the ground what we can personally do to help improve our air quality in East Oakland. So we'll be sending that listening session notice out to you guys. Right. Thank you guys again. Is everything good now? We can still close out early?
Yeah, we can still close out. I'm forwarding to myself now.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, we'll see you guys in person next meeting. We don't have one for January. See you February.
Yes. Hey, Happy New Year.
Happy Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Feliz Navidad.
Igualmente. Same to you. Happy Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Y próspero año nuevo.
Bye-bye, everyone. Happy New Year.
Yes.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Wait